So I'm just going to give a quick introduction. I've worked with Brigette a little bit before this, and she's great. She looked at my slides and gave me some great ideas. I've worked with her on our Mind Types mastermind group, and she has really been helpful to a lot of people. So thank you, Brigette, for doing this. I really appreciate it. And again, especially for recording it for the people who couldn't be here. So without any further ado, Brigette Callahan.
Thanks. So the first slide you see is create compelling slides that convert. That's usually the title of my talk, but I did curate these slides specifically for you, the trainers, to accomplish the goals that Bill set out in the outline that was emailed to you. So I'm going to flip through these slides fairly quickly, hopefully within 30 minutes, so that I can leave plenty of time for Q&A. Feel free to put some notes in the chat if you have questions or whatever, and hopefully I can answer those questions that were within the agenda. And I'm sure a lot of new questions will come up. I'm always available to answer. You can email me, or we can hop on a phone call, because I really want to empower you guys to really connect with your audience and to give your audience a really great experience through slides. So let me get started here. So again, my name is Brigette Callahan. I call myself a presentation design strategist. And after working with a speaker on her slides, she made $72,000 from stage in only 30 minutes in a speak to sell talk. And she sold her product that was $2,000 per product, which is unheard of in the speak to sell market. You don't sell something for $2,000 in a 30-minute talk. You need 60 minutes or 90 minutes. But she had this offer. I said, let's work together. Let's see what can happen. And she was thrilled. She was over the moon. So I'll share a little bit more about that at the end if you're interested. I picture a world, I think we all picture a world where slideshows should be like a Hollywood movie. And that's kind of what I aim for. So some of the things I've worked with speakers on is also their handouts. This was a handout I created for a speaker that got invited to Necker Island to speak to Richard Branson and 20 other million-dollar investors. And she had a nonprofit. And she says, well, I just want to give them a copy of my slides. And I was like, that's not going to make sense, because if you're not speaking to the slides, it's not going to make any sense. So we created a full color brochure for her. We created a landing page where they could click on a link through their phone and donate. And then this is just a glimpse of some of the slides we created for her. You know, they do have some words on there, but it's very visual. It's very colorful, and it's something different that most people haven't seen. So it really kind of raises them up a bit and go, wow, this is different. This is unique. I have my own graphic design company. I've been in business for myself for 23 years. And before that, I worked in corporate, in their art departments. I've won awards in website design, package design, and slide design. And this is a snapshot of some of the clients I've worked with in the past. And as Bill mentioned, I really enjoy this limbic messaging kind of thing. And I follow Ridgely Goldsboro a lot. And how do we attract that memory in the brain through the limbic messaging? And so, you know, that limbic message controls the emotions and the memories and the arousal. And so when you can have an image, like I want you to watch, you know, as I present, how do you react to the images that I show? And if you can take notes, you know, where is the wow factor being impressed? And does that make sense for you? And would it make sense for your audience? The memory functions too. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you can only speak a certain amount of words and a picture can imbue 1,000 more words in their brain, that's going to have more impact on their memory. So also limbic messaging talks to the creativity. So this is an event that I worked for 10 years down in San Diego for a cardiology conference, and there was 800 seats. Tons of doctors speaking, and all the doctor slides were just horrific. I mean, horrible. It's like they put everything on the slide and they expect that everyone would understand. And all the other doctors do the same thing because this is what they do. They don't have any idea of how it takes out the audience. But one doctor, he worked with an agency. He had a great deck, and everyone came standing room only to listen to him talk, because he talked not only a compelling talk about new technologies in the industry, but he talked in a way that was well choreographed and spoke to the audience. It was just like that Hollywood effect. And I remember, and this was probably 15 years ago when I saw this slide, he put a slide up of the US, a map of the US. And then he said, this is where all the McDonald's is in the US. And then he had another slide. And he said, and this is where all the heart disease is in the US. And what did your brain just do? Did it kind of map on top of the two dots? Well, this is a compilation of what you saw. And he didn't show this third one. He just talked to the two. But what happened was our brain put together those images and had us listen even more intently. You know, and he wasn't talking, he wasn't bashing McDonald's. He was just saying, ever since fast food came on the market and where they were located in the US, this is where heart disease got worse. And so he's just making a correlation. Here's another image. Would you like this as a gift? When you look at this image, it's beautiful. It's got the gold wrapping. It's got the hands holding the gift. And we look at images first. We look for humanness. Like, is there a face? Are there eyes? Are they looking at us? And the next thing we look at is body language, and then the hands. What are the hands doing? So I just show this as an invitation of a limbic message. Also, I want you to know I'm committed to abolishing the boring slide, and I want to create a win-win experience with you and the audience. So this is a slide that I'm working on, talking about the stepping stones of if you're crossing the river, what are the stones that you need to have to get to that promised land, that other side that really connects with your audience. And so if you look at the wow factor is one of the stones. If you add connections to that, connecting with your audience, and then conversions, whether you're selling a product or you're selling an idea, there's always a conversion. And so this is kind of my commitment. So today in our agenda, I want to eliminate those distracting elements. I want to use great images to engage the limbic brain. I also want to introduce videos that inspire and educate. And what happened to the last one? Be mindful of using animation and transition. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So eliminating distractive elements. Well, when I say that, first of all, I say keep it simple. And this shocks most people. If you want to not put your audience to sleep, don't put your slides on a white background. Otherwise, you get this, and we're all used to this. But what happens when we're looking at projected light, like when we go to the theater and the movie comes on, but they didn't turn the lights off. It's like, hey, you turn the lights off, the movie started. That's what a white slide does to us. It kind of blinds us. I also like to relate it to a cop pulling us over at midnight and then shining the light in our eyes as they're trying to look for our license. You know, it's like, you know, don't blind me here. And two, the eye is trying to conjugate dark letters on a white background. So we have to work really hard. And with all the text, we have to like create that H. Okay, that's an H, and then an E, and then an R, and then an E. Okay, here. So you think in brain power, we could do that fairly quickly, but if it's so hard to read all the text, we stop listening, number one. And after about 10 minutes, we're brain dead and we can't even look at the slides. We can't even hear what they're talking about. We just want to take a nap. So in our industry, when we're working events and we get these slides from our clients, it's like we call this the eye chart. So here's an example of a slide I found online. It's like they found this graphic and slapped it in the middle of a slide and they put it on a white background. And it's like, how can I make this slide better? And so it's a great graphic. It's a nice color. You know, just make the graphic full screen. No borders, no light leaks. Keep it simple. Take that text, put it in that same gold color on a black background. Notice how much more relaxing it is. You know, even though it's like he's getting shocked and he's falling over, you know, you get into the emotion of the graphic, but you're not distracted by all this white. Here's an example of a hot seat. One of my clients thought this was a hot seat. And I was like, that's not a hot seat. This is a hot seat. So he thought just putting text on a slide would empower people to raise their hand and come join a hot seat. And I said, no, that's not going to do it. You need to bring out that limbic message. And what I love about this image is it's like this big leather chair that you find in the hotels in the lobby, and you just want to sit in it and melt, right? It's so comfortable. But then you're surrounded by this desolate land and this impending storm. So what is a hot seat? But it's like you want to be there, but it's a little uncomfortable. So again, it just evokes that feeling. Here's another client. This was their title slide. I'm like, wow, you're speaking on stages with 5,000 people in attendance, and this is your title slide. I said, let's redo it. And so I talked to her, I redid her whole deck, and she has so much more fun in presenting now because she feels connected with her slides. She's curbed the feeling of slide shame, and she's actually got slide envy now. People compliment on her slides all the time, but they really connect with you. So and what creates that wow factor? And I say, you know, we don't want to use bullets because bullets kill. And so here's a bulleted slide, and it's an offer slide. And when I look at offer slides, I think I want to see the amount. I want to see each product that you're offering and the amount, but everything's so jumbled, it's hard to read the slide. So I just recreated this simple animations, let it reveal as you click, you know, so you can talk about each one however long you want. It's just more engaging. Here's another bulleted slide. I was like, really? I said, you know, that's a great image. And she's talking about how if you don't take care of your body, if you don't be mindful of what you put in your body, you're going to age quicker. And so I said, let's make the image full frame and let's just put the title at the bottom. And the reason I put the title at the bottom is we're looking at their face, we're looking at their eyes. And if they're not looking at us, they're looking at something. So we want to follow at what they're looking at. So we naturally go from left to right. It's a natural progression. It's easy. I'm not reading text. I'm just listening to how they're describing, you know, what they're talking about. And then here's another favorite bulleted slide. This was a client who was the former CFO of Microsoft, and he was giving a talk on how marketing and sales and finance doesn't get along. Mainly, he was in charge of finance. And I said, okay, this is going to be fun. And he mapped the whole story on Star Wars, where everyone wants to be the hero. No one knows how to be the mentor. And he's saying finance needs to be the mentor, and you need to mentor sales on how to read those quarterly reports and what to do about it. And so this was his bulleted list. And what I loved about it is when he would tell a story, we would just show an image that would relate to the story, that Hollywood effect. And then we just put the bullets in the corner as a post-it note. So it was just something different for the brain to wrap around. And then here's another one, again, bulleted slide, not real inspired by this, but this makes a lot of sense. And this is fully animated in PowerPoint. This is no special effects. It's just knowing how to use PowerPoint. And she was blown away by that. That was like one of her favorite slides. Okay, so using great images. This was my client who I talked about in the beginning, who made $72,000 in a 30-minute talk. She helps people write their book, and she, you know, helps you get more credibility with a book. And what I love about the background image is it's this old tattered spine of a book. And if I were to ever write a book, I'd want my book to look like that, because then I know they're reading it. And then she goes into why would you write a book? You know, it's great for marketing. It's like a business card. It's credibility. And then she goes, how do you discover your heart message? And so her whole story was actually framed around the heart. And I love this image. It was a found image, but you can look at this image for 10 minutes as I'm talking, and you're going to put your own spin on this image and tie it to what's being said. Like for me, I look at this, I go, wow, I remember when we were kids and we lived on the beach and we had bonfires and the sunsets were amazing. And oh yeah, discover my heart message. Maybe there is a heart message in me writing a book. So you can see how my brain is thinking all these thoughts, but it's tying into what she's saying. And then finally, she had frame your message so people hunger for it. Again, a found image, but look at the rice that's in the hands. It's in the form of a heart. It's like it's perfect. So finding those images and how they relate, it's almost like each slide is a work of art. Now, this is an example of the slide sorter view of a client slides that I did for him. And it kind of gives you this rich sense of, wow, oh, I wonder what they're talking about. I mean, if he wasn't speaking to these slides, you wouldn't know what he's talking about. He needs to speak to the slides, and that's what putting those two together makes the presentation so much more powerful. It's like storytelling. You know, when you were a little kid and your parents read you a book before bed, you got excited for two reasons. One, you didn't have to go to sleep right away, and two, you got to hear a story. And you would always say, show me the picture, show me the picture. And so as a kid, we couldn't read, but we could hear, and we could also see the pictures, and we would just formulate so many ideas and dreams and cool stuff, right? So again, another rich image. And he talked to this one slide for 10 minutes, but this image filled that space. And if you're like, well, what is it about know your customer? Well, if you're trying to get your marketing out there and you want to do better sales, you got to know who your customer is, who you marketing to. And so as he's talking, I'm looking at her, she's looking at the package, he's looking at her, I'm looking at his eyes, and I immediately go to her face, but then she's looking down, and then I see their hands, and then I see all the packaging and the nice, neat shelves. And I just formulate all these ideas as he's telling me about know the customer. And then here's another slide, offer the customer something they value. Well, clearly she values shopping. But again, great image, nice and colorful. It matches her lipstick, some of the packages. And then again, this is at my absolute favorite bulleted slide. It was given to me as a bulleted slide. The title was Effective Communication is What is Remembered and Acted Upon, because you must entertain, you must engage, you must inform, and you must have a call to action. So I found this image. I thought it related to communication. I saw how I could put these bullets together as little, pull quotes or, balloons that people are speaking. And it's great. It's timeless. And then finally, this was her, a slide on speaking the language of the customer. And again, look at her face. She's got great teeth. She's got bright eyes. You smile when you see it. And I took the color of the text and matched the brown in her eyes. So the color of the text relates to the picture. So these are just subtle design techniques. They're very simple, but they have some powerful influence. So number 3, how do we introduce videos that inspire and educate? Well, I'm clicking on this next slide, and it's just going to start playing a video. I don't have to do anything else. I just click the clicker and the video starts playing. And I'm going to talk about why that's so important. But this video was actually created from slides. I created a slide deck for her, and I used Morph. If you're not familiar with Morph, it's one of the more fantastic animations, transition tools out there in PowerPoint. But you can see that it's telling a story, and she's telling a story of her marketing program that she wanted to wrap around the solar system. So the video just ended and it advanced to the next slide. And why I love that is because if you don't set that up to advance automatically, then you go and click, and sometimes it's like you click on the video and then nothing happens and you get stuck, and then you're sitting there going, what happened? And so people hire me because of my knowledge about how to get video to play. And when I share with you how to do it, it's so simple, but people don't apply it. I don't know why. So hopefully when I walk through these steps, it'll make sense. So here's a video. Let's watch a video. So I'm setting up the video with a slide, okay? And then when I click the slide, the video starts playing. And hopefully you can hear the sound, because I did share the sound. I like cats, every time I see a cat video, it makes me laugh. So I just put this in there as a sample, right? And as this video plays, I can talk over it, right? It's important maybe to put in the notes how long this video is, because if you're talking to the video or if you're letting it play, then you can know, okay, it's going to play for another 10 seconds or whatever. So I always say, put the slide, the video length, is it 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. And then it automatically advanced to the next slide. And it could be any slide, right? But it said, wasn't that great? So this walks through the steps. So what you want to do is you want to click on your video, you import your video and you click on it, and then you'll get the video format playback. And from there, you want to look at where it says start, and you want it to start automatically. This is automatically set to click on the video, and that's your downfall. You don't want to do that. You want it to start automatically. And then from there, you have an option to also trim the video. So how would I trim the video? Well, I just downloaded a video from YouTube for a client that they're presenting tomorrow. And it was, a video that had an ad in the beginning and some stuff on the end that I didn't want to see. And I just, through PowerPoint, I was able to edit the video and trim off that beginning and end. And then the video plays, and it's awesome. So that's where you trim the video there. And then to set the transition to automatically advance, you want to click on transitions. I always go with fade. I think all the transitions in there are nice, but I think people try to do different transitions because they think it's cool, but it actually is more distracting. So, for a professional level, for the Hollywood effect, if you watch the edits in a movie and how many edits happen in a minute, you wouldn't see these crazy transitions happening from each edit. Okay. So learn from Hollywood. Okay. And then from there, you want to make sure that you always click after and have it set to 0. Because what this does, as soon as the video ends, it advances to the next slide. And again, here is a video that I just clicked and it advanced to the slide. And then this is cats. They had cats in pumpkin hats. Now this is cats in banana hats. So if you Google it, you'll find the videos. And he has like several others. But notice how it just automatically fades to the next slide, and it's just smooth. It's professional. And then as far as the best use of animations and transitions, this was a slide from the deck I did for the Microsoft CFO. And he was talking about how he got into the department. Already the department had a low satisfaction rating and he didn't know why. And he was actually alienating all the other departments like sales and marketing. And I don't know if you know this, but I grew up, my stepfather was a very successful salesman. I heard the complaints all the time about marketing, about finance. They just never got along. And so he actually had to look at this and he, what went wrong? So basically what I did was I took the full color image, I ghosted it back to a grayscale kind of sepia tone, and then I put text on top of it, what went wrong. So again, kind of a Hollywood effect, but super simple to do. And then here's another series of slides that talks about leveraging when you speak. So if you are on a call with someone, a sales call, and you spend an hour and they buy your product, wow, you made $8,000 in an hour. But we all know that not every call is going to be successful. Some people are really good at 1 in 4. Some people aren't so good, maybe 1 in 20, but you get the idea. That's 20 hours and I made 1 sale, yikes. But what if you could talk to many people in an hour? And of those people, let's say 5 people buy your product. So you've got 5 people times $8,000. That's $40,000 you made in an hour. So you want to ask yourself, what is a sales call worth to you? So you might ask me, how many slides did that take, Brigette, to animate? I actually think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6 slides. But did you count slides as I moved? Did you notice the slides change, or was it more of a story that was evolving? That's the question I posed to you. And then this is another favorite animation. I call it Post-it notes as storyboards. So I learned when I was learning how to create speak to sell talks is you want to put your story together and you might have 3 to 5 ideas, and just take each idea and put it on a Post-it note. And what I do is say, okay, each idea, then put a little drawing or make a list of images that you might want to use to evoke that subject when you're creating your slides. And so with Post-it notes, then you can reorder them and put them in any order you want. That's why I like Post-it notes. So the effect that I just did was, again, a morph effect. Again, super simple. This is my client, Helen Chang, who was the person that spoke from stage. And actually her first talk, she made $6,000, never made any money before. And then it was her second talk after they saw her speak the first time, they invited her back. And that second talk, she made $72,000. So one of my greatest accomplishments so far. And then this is my mentor from SCORE, and he's been mentoring me since 2015. And he was the one that told me, Brigette, you need to move away from graphic design and just do slides. Your slides are amazing. And there's graphic designers on every corner of the street. There's not many slide designers out there. So I've been treading through this direction for 7 years now. And been kind of wondering, is this the right direction to go? But, meeting people like you and feeling the pain of creating your own slides, like, can I show them a better way? So that's why I talk now. So designing impactful slides so they captivate and convert is doable. And it's actually kind of fun. So I'm just going to put up my contact information. And I'll share it in the chat, but that's basically my presentation. And so we have some time for questions. And of course, I can stop sharing and talk, and then also share my screen again and show you stuff in PowerPoint if you have specific questions.
Brigette, that was fantastic, but I expect nothing less from you.
Thank you.
So again, any questions, come off mute and ask Brigette.
No questions?
Yeah, Jean's
Okay.
trying to unmute, I think. No?
Just a minute to think.
Well, I love that morph, but you know, you say it's simple, but it's just setting up slides and then the slides morph. Is that what how that works?
Yeah. Do you want to see a little demonstration?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. And I think, do you see PowerPoint?
See all your slides.
Okay, so that's PowerPoint. Okay, good. So the slide that that was morphing with the Post-it notes. Okay, so these are just elements, right? And this was a drawing I did in Photoshop that looked like a Post-it notes. And then I had my artist hand draw some text and then these little drawings. So it's just a graphic that's a transparent ping. So they, you know, are transparent. And so you have this on one slide, and then on the next slide, if you look under transitions.
You know, we're actually seeing slide share.
Yeah, right.
So we're not seeing, but I think you're trying to demonstrate.
right.
You're not seeing PowerPoint?
No, we're seeing SlideShare. Thanks.
What is? Okay, I'm lost now. Share screen. If I share PowerPoint, what do you see?
Now we got it, I
Okay.
think.
Do you see, what do you see on the screen?
The Post-it note slide.
Okay, good. Oh, Zoom is so funny. So these are the graphics I was talking about that you didn't see, and they're transparent ping, so they overlap over each other. I can move them anywhere I want. Okay, and then here I added these numbers, and if you look, I think down here, no, I didn't. They just appear. Okay, so this is morph. The second slide is morph. This is just a regular slide that faded from this slide. Okay, does that make sense? So when I present this slide, and tell me if you see the slides. You see slides?
We see the slide with the Post-it notes.
Good. Okay, so I click, and that's what happens. So they morphed, right? So they went from one position to another position, and they kind of moved in a really organic way. Is that what you saw?
And is that the second slide then?
Yeah. So if I were to let me do a morph on this one. So I'm just duplicating this slide, right? And I want the text to come on the screen from down here. Okay. I know you can do it other ways, but I'm just giving you an example of morph. So I need to set this to morph. Okay. And then that's what's going to happen. So I'm on my regular slide. I click and the text comes up. So basically it's just moving whatever is on the object and moving it around. So if I were to go down, like this is the morph of the solar system. Okay. And it's a little confusing because you know, these are the slides I showed you on that video of the solar system. But what happens is if you look at let me go full screen here, or you may not be able to see. Do you see the full slide? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. See, I don't know if I can go into full screen or not. The actual slide is this little square that I'm putting my mouse around. And then everything on the pasteboard is off of the slide. So when these are actors, think of these as actors. So when I go to the next slide, you can move things around and it drags them in, or it moves them across, or like you'll notice how this background just changed, you know. So this is the actual morph of the slide, and then there's just animation of the text. But notice too how the stars are moving, because that was just that star field that's just moved across the screen. You know, it's just a matter of moving the star field, and it's going to move from here to here.
Did you select each one as an element and then, you know, stage them 1, 2, 3, and then they come in one at a time? It doesn't look like that.
No, so I'm doing one slide where all the elements are off the screen, and the next slide has all the elements on the screen. So they're going to move however distance they are to the edge. So like this one here is going to move on screen. It's going to move slower, or actually faster, because it's got to move from this distance to this distance. So it'll look like it came on really fast. Whereas this one that's just right off the edge is going to move slower. So it's advanced animation. I get that. I actually learned animation on a drawing board before computers. So I have this animation mind. But if to understand more, here's my request. Go to YouTube and Google PowerPoint morph, and you're going to see some amazing effects. And there are some training videos as well. But the simple thing is this Post-it notes, right? So here I have a Post-it note. It's a fade. If I duplicate this and I move this one down here and I move this one over here, what's going to happen when I morph it? Okay, it just moved those two. Okay, it didn't move anything else because they didn't move. But let's say I want this first one, and I don't want this one on here, and I don't want this one on here, and this one I want way down below. So you'll see how fast it comes on. And then I go from here. So this is the first slide, and then the morph slide. See how they come on? It's just a matter of what's your starting point, what's your end point. Does that make sense?
When do you hit morph, before or after?
Morph is the second slide. So the first slide is where all your actors are, okay? And what's on the stage. And if you want actors to pull in, then you want them off stage, stage left, stage right, up or down. And then they're just going to move from that point to the next point in a straight line. So when you see this one, it goes from here, and then it's going to move them from here, because these are all the same actors. They have the same attribute, because I didn't rename them or I didn't introduce something different. So I rotated them a little bit. So that's why it rotated. It's just a matter of like, how do you want to manipulate your actor to morph onto the screen? Confusing? It's advanced, but it's actually quite simple. You could probably go watch a couple of videos on YouTube, play a little bit with it, watch this video again, and more questions will come up, I bet. And so say, Brigette, I want to do this. How would I do this in morph? Feel free to send me an email. I posted my contact information in the chat. I get excited about this stuff, and I want to empower people. So, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
It definitely comes across.
Now, if I could just monetize it all.
That's it. We know that one.
Yeah. And then, like I said, with the video, so here's a video here, and I did walk through this, but let me make this bigger. So if you click on the video, moved off the screen, and you go to video format and then playback. Okay, this is where the start automatically is. Now, when you drag a video on, it's gonna do in click sequence, or it's gonna do when clicked on, which is gonna cause problems. So you always want to set it to automatically. And then over here is the video trim, where you can just shorten the video. I just want to show 2 minutes of it. Okay, and you'll notice now, because it's automatic, I'm going to go to the next slide, and it's going to play that video, but it's going to stop real quick because I trimmed the heck out of it. But it just tests that, the automatic. So with this video, again, in the transition, I'm just doing a fade, but I want to make sure that this is clicked. Normally this is not clicked, this after thing. Okay. Super simple.
Let me ask you a quick question about when you go someplace to do a presentation, because sometimes they don't have the same elements as you do. So what kind of trouble, or what do you need to check? So if you wanted to do your slide presentation with a video or with morph, what questions do you have to ask the people that you're going to be presenting it to?
What version of PowerPoint are they using?
Okay.
Anything from 2016 on should have morph. Most when you go to events where you're speaking at an event, normally they'll have the latest version, or the version called 365, PowerPoint 365. And what I love about that is it's a membership. Basically, you pay $99 a year, and you get updates all the time, and you just keep paying $99 a year. So since this is my main program, plus you get Word, you get Excel, you get all of that for $99, and you get to put it on 6 computers. So like a family, it's a family plan, and it's not the high-end business plan. This is the regular plan. And this is all I use. Okay, I don't need all those other bells and whistles that Microsoft has, but you just want to make sure, does it have Morph? And I went to an event last week. I was working in Orlando, and they said, we need Macs because they're using Morph. And I'm thinking, well, Morph works on PC too. Why do they need Macs? And they were thinking they were using Keynote, which is a competitor to PowerPoint that only works on Mac. And they don't call it Morph, they call it something else. But even the producers didn't know what they were talking about, which I thought was really funny. So Morph works on Mac and PC. Actually, there's some functionality on PC that some that Macs don't do, which, PC has a more richer ability to do things. But I'm a Mac person. I've been a Mac person since the mid 80s. And, I learned to live with it, but I also can do Windows on Mac. So I can pull up PC at any time. And I love to talk about those high-end distinctions of what can a PC do that a Mac can't do, yeah, Morph, it's super simple. Here's another thing that's kind of cool. Like, I'm going to duplicate this slide, and I'm just going to change the words. Okay, and put some stuff here, and then I'm going to do Morph, and I want to tell it to be characters. Okay, so under effects, you have objects, words, or characters. Now, if I do characters, what happens? Isn't that cool? Super simple. So you have to, it doesn't matter too. Like I could do a Morph from here, because this slide, I think this slide has characters. Yeah. So if I did Morph with characters here, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? It could be because it's a different text or something, but notice how I duplicated the slide and then just changed the text. That's when it worked. So I'm surprised it didn't work. I thought it just had to do with text, but maybe not. I'm clicking. Nope, it didn't work. Okay, so interesting. So make sure when you work on your slide, make sure you have that same text box, and then just change the text on the next one, and it'll change that way. Make sense? I know I teach really fast, and I have a ton of knowledge, and I know even Bill said this to me when I did his slide reviews, like, oh my God, I'm swimming. It's too much information. So I'm learning to slow down. And you guys are the trainers. Any feedback you can give me or help, I would love it.
You're doing great.
Okay.
Any questions? Other questions? I'm always worried about videos.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I'm always worried about, putting them in. Where do you put them in? How do you, do you just put them in as a, kind of a, well, how do you put them in? That's the best question I could ask you.
How do you put a video in?
Into your PowerPoint. What's the best way?
I'm just gonna take a blank slide here, okay? And you could do so if I insert video, let's see, you can't see my insert thing because it's up there. Let me see if I can do it from here. Insert. I don't know. So on Mac, we can just drag it in, right? So if I find a video, I have a video that I just had a little while ago. Cats in pumpkin hats. Where is it? All right, let's just try MP4.
Your presentation, are you on a Mac?
Yes.
Oh, that's why, because that's why it looks so different, because I'm a PC person.
Okay. I don't know what this is.
The person that asked about videos, was that you, Bill?
Yes.
Are you a Mac user?
No.
Okay.
PC.
Because because it looks very different. Your screen looks very different than what we're used to seeing.
So what I can do, okay, so here's a video here. I'm just gonna go and pull it up on my hard drive here so you can see it. And I've got PowerPoint over here, and I'm just taking the video and dragging it onto PowerPoint. Okay. And then I just want to incise the video so it's full size of the screen. Okay. And that's how you add a video, but then you want to go into the playback and change it to automatically. Do your transition, just a fade, and we want it to go after. And that's all you have to do. That's it. And just know that once this video plays, it's going to automatically advance to this next slide when it's done. So have an ending slide, or have the slide that you know, go into your next talk, because don't get flustered when the video ends and it goes to the next slide. Plan for that, you know, be professional about it. Know that it was going to happen that way. That's what the high-end speakers do. So if you want, I can have you share your screen. I can walk you through it on a PC if you want to record that.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
You have time?
Yeah, I do.
Great. So
Bridget, a similar question though. How does that, you're embedding the video, right? So it changes the size of the PowerPoint, or is it a link to the
Oh,
video?
yes. No, yeah, that's a great question. You can link it and it won't increase the size of the PowerPoint, but it won't travel with you. So if you email that to someone, or if you put it on a memory stick and forget to put the video there, it won't find it. The other thing is, it's going to link to where, if you link it and not embed it, it's going to link to wherever you dragged it from. So if you dragged it from a folder inside of another folder, it's not going to find that once it goes on another computer. So our solution is put all your videos in the same folder as the PowerPoint before you embed them, before you link them.
So I just click PowerPoint, I just click share. So that's, okay, great. All right. So now you're seeing my PowerPoint.
Yes.
And now what?
You have
how
a
would we do
video.
this?
You
Oh, I
have
have a video. Ah, there's a problem right there.
No, why don't you just go on YouTube?
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's,
what's the problem
drop
with
something
that?
in from
If
YouTube.
you link from YouTube, you're gonna have problems, okay? Because it
Okay.
won't automatically advance. It's gonna open YouTube again when the video's done. It doesn't look professional. So people go, well, how do you show YouTube videos? Well, I download the video. I have a program that lets me download a YouTube video, and then I embed it. And I always embed. I don't care how big the PowerPoint is, because embedding is the most sure way that video is going to play. So I'm just
I would
giving you
think-
what the professionals do.
I would think I have a video, right? I'm sorry to do this, but so I just need to get out of here. And then I'm not sure how to do this. And I usually screw this up. So
So yeah, you want to have,
does anybody else have a video? Because you could share the screen. You could share the screen. It's just a matter of someone have PowerPoint and have a video that you could share.
I actually know how to do it.
Well, go ahead. Then you'll show us.
you're on PC?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good. Can you show us just so we have it on recording?
Yeah, I think so. All right, and see if I can do it. All right, are you all seeing the PowerPoint?
Mhm.
Put in a blank slide. The way that I do it, that I just find to be very simple, is that I just go to video, right? And then it's saying, do you want something from this device, or do you want something from online? I actually do embed from YouTube, right? So I'm gonna now, I would have to drop in the link
Mhm.
of the video that I want to embed. So I would have went to PowerPoint, I would have, YouTube, found something I wanted, copy the ULR, and come here and drop it into the ULR. So I will give an example of that, because I'll just go to YouTube real quick, and maybe I could find something to drop in there.
So when you present, did you present as flawlessly as I did when I showed my videos?
What happens is, to your point, you have to quickly advance, because otherwise it'll play it again.
Yeah.
Let's just see if I,
So you don't have a video yourself?
I'm gonna put one in right now.
No, but I'm saying, do you have one? Because then that would be what we were trying to show.
An embedded
The video that, yeah, embedded one that you can just
on your computer.
put in there.
Okay, let's see. Let me come out of that. So if right now, what I did just do is I did an online one. So this is just a ULR that I just picked, right?
Yeah.
And then you just do insert. And it's gonna put it here.
But it's not
And
embedded.
you
It's
just
not
open
embedded.
it up like that.
Yeah, it's linking, and if you don't have internet access, the video won't play.
That's true.
Ah,
That's the glitch. If you don't have internet access wherever you are, it's gonna be a problem.
And
So-
most internet access in ballrooms is Wi-Fi, and it's really poor, so the video glitches, and you're stuck there, you know, with egg on your face because the video's not playing. So
Yeah,
that's
you
why
have-
we don't do it from a professional standpoint.
Right, and I understand your point. I understand your point. If I do have something on my machine, so if we were gonna do that, you go here, video, and then you go from your own device, right? And so here's something on active listening. And what happened to it? Let's see. I'll try that again. Insert from this device. Now it's saying that this upgrading probably because that video, this is a very old video, and it might not, maybe it's too old for it to actually view. But
Yeah, so in the middle of upgrading, you hit cancel. That's why it doesn't show the video.
oh, that's what happened. I don't use these videos because they're so old, but try one more time.
See, is it a short video?
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes.
Okay, don't hit cancel. Let's see how long it takes.
so Bridget, what you're saying is you have to download these videos, put it into your presentation before you go give the presentation.
Correct. And it does, like I just emailed, not emailed, I sent her a Dropbox link to download it, but I sent a slide deck. She has over 100 slides. She's speaking for like 2 hours tomorrow night. And there's 2 videos embedded, and the slide deck was 300 megabytes.
And so that affects your presentation?
No, it's going to affect her download. If she's in a hotel and doesn't have good internet access, she's going to be able to download her slides. 'Cause
Oh,
And right, don't these videos make your PowerPoint so cumbersome that it's hard to move it to a flash drive or hard to move it at all sometimes unless you put it in a Dropbox or something?
Right. And that's like, you know, I mean, memory sticks nowadays, you can get a 4 gigabyte memory stick for like $20. They're cheap. And most slideshows I've worked with are less than a gigabyte. So that shouldn't be a problem. But also I would always have your slide deck and your videos available on a cloud in case you lose the memory stick or it doesn't open on their drive and they're for some reason they put it in their computer and accidentally formatted it. These things happen.
Yeah, I always email it to myself, but even then, sometimes there's an issue with getting your email.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's
this is not working so well, so I'll stop sharing. But it's just the idea that it was so easy just to go here and find it. Just go and just get your file. It's not hard at all.
Yeah. And so if you, let me share my screen again. I'll show you what I use to download a video. Let's see. Trying to see how to share my desktop. Finder, okay. So interesting. So Finder just shows us a folder. It won't show you my desktop. So this is something, Bill, you and I need to talk to in the future. Like, what's the limitations you have on your Zoom that doesn't let me show my desktop?
okay.
Because I can't teach over different applications without showing my desktop and show, okay, now I'm going in this application and this is how this works.
I get it.
There's a setting in Zoom that you have to have a certain way and it'll allow you to show your desktop.
You know what that is?
I don't think you can change it while you're in it. If I recall, I'm not even pretend that I can remember right now. I know I can find it when I look for it, but I did find that it's harder when you're in it.
So
Yeah.
this is a program called Allav, ALLAV, And I think I paid either $39 or $79 for it, you know, for life. But you paste the URL in here. And if it's if it's a video that's protected, like YouTube, you know, these music videos and stuff can be protected, it won't download it. But if it's not protected, it will download it. And it loads it pretty quick. You just put the URL in here and then click this button and it downloads. And then once it downloads, it's an MP4, which works on both Mac and PC, and you just drag that into your PowerPoint, or put it in the folder where your PowerPoint is, and you know, link into it like you did before. So
your suggestion would be, if I'm kind of trying to put this together, is if you have a PowerPoint presentation with a video, or I guess any other stuff that takes up a lot of room, you should put it on a flash drive, and/or you should also put it on the cloud.
yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people have Gmail, you know, you get a Google account, 15 gigs is free with the Google account. No, you know, I've upgraded, so I get like 100 gigs or whatever, but I mean, it's simple, it's easy to access. And, you know, I use Dropbox. I pay a good fee to have Dropbox, because all my clients' files are in Dropbox. And I just quickly send a link to them. Okay, here's your updated graphic, whatever, your slides. But those are some of the cloud, you know, based solutions. There's a lot out there. I think PowerPoint, Microsoft has a cloud solution as well. But yeah, that's just added insurance,
Right.
you know.
And Bridget, I know before we are going to blast off here, could you put your slide in with your information? Because I know the chat, people who are going to view this, the recording won't be able to see that.
Okay.
So if you could put that information, and also, do you still do your
My office hours?
Your office hours? Yeah, you're not going to believe this one. Do you still do it?
I've gone on hiatus.
Okay.
But I plan to bring it out again. So let me share my screen. Hopefully you see the PowerPoint.
Yes.
You see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, that's great. Perfect.
And then this is my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Brigette Callahan. I've got lots of free training. That video thing I think is on here. And then some of my talks where you could see maybe a little longer version of my talk where I show before and afters and stuff like that. So that's always fun, but this is my information here.
Great. Well, again, thank you so much. Any final questions that anybody has? Okay.
No, I just want to make a quick comment. Richard, that was John Barb. That was awesome. I want to thank you. It's like you said, you know, you did some special adjustments to the slides for us as an audience. That was an example of a great presentation, meeting audience needs, and not only that, setting the stage for future business for people who want to, you know, hire you, but you did it without selling. It's like you just shared, you know, you shared from your heart the best stuff that you have. And it was like, that was like, I'm glad Bill taped this, because it's like a model of how to do a professional sales presentation without selling. It was just, it was awesome. Like, I just want to thank you very much for your time that you spent with us. And, you know, when you were talking about monetizing it, that's going to happen. I have no doubt in my mind. I wish you the best. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I've been working on the speak to sell model and working with the clients on that for a long time now. And, you know, my mission is to make a difference for 1 million audience members by working with 1,000 speakers. And I've been in the back of these rooms where the audience is taken out by these poor slides, and it just hurts my heart. And when we can make an engaging slide deck and the audience is on the edge of their seats, that excites me. You know, it's like, okay, let's get on this roller coaster, you know?
Yeah.
So thank
John,
you.
you're the utmost summarizer. So I appreciate you doing that, because kudos. And again, couldn't have said it better myself. Bridget, thank you so much.
Yeah, and you know, Bill, I want to express my gratitude for allowing me to make a difference for you guys, and I would be willing to come back.
Great.
So, you know, if you have some advanced questions or whatever, you know,
Okay.
in a couple months or something, you know, write them down and let's do another session.
Terrific. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Good to see you. And Bridget, I'm sure I'll see you at another Mind Types meeting.
Of course, of course.
Take care.